That is an issue within itself, forcing people to buy insurance on these minimum levels. But this is the argument that they used in order to get us into where we are today with the compulsory insurance law and the camera. They used that as a statistic to convince the committee chair that this was necessary. So in 2016, they were still touting the 25% level when it was actually 13.6, and they actually had tremendous success without those cameras, without that system that's in place now. Right now, Oklahoma is we're 28th in the nation. We're at 11.8% of uninsured motorists, which begs the question then, is it as effective as we think it is?
Is it your understanding that people could buy uninsured motorist insurance on their own?
Yes, I think, I buy insurance to cover uninsured motorists. I mean,
there was no reason for the government to force us to have to buy insurance. And here's my follow-up to that. If the government is going to force us to buy insurance because of some kind of statistic, when we do things like go on percentages like that, I think we could say something like this. Bald tires cause 25, and I'm just making this up, but I'm making the point. Bald tires cause 25% of accidents in Oklahoma. So now we're going to have legislation that is going to force people to buy tires once their tire tread becomes whatever it is that we're going to say it is. And then that's going to prevent these accidents.
I think that's a pretty good analogy. I think the bottom line was the DA council wanted this as a revenue stream for them, and they got tired of coming to the legislature for an appropriation every year. And they told them that if they had this system in place, they wouldn't need the appropriation. As discussed by another DA, whenever I made that point in another meeting, and they said, well, if you would fund us the way it's supposed to be funded, we would not have had to have this system. So was it a matter of public safety? Was it a matter of trying to get people to buy insurance, or was it just a matter of funding? And I'm telling you, money is a big issue in all of this. And Flock Camera has a powerful lobby. They've been lobbying the Senate really hard here before the session started. They're trying to champion their bill, Senate Bill 857. At the end of the day, it's about the money. And then when you have an agency or an entity that has self-funded like they are with a system, then at what point do you bring them back to the legislature for their accountability? It was really an unwise thing to carve them outside the appropriation process, because with the appropriation process is the accountability. You got to bring them back, have them justify what they need. That's a workaround that we have right now at the DA Council. If you compare 857 and you compare 1626, which is his bill in the House, I don't think they're really adequate in order to ensure that people's Fourth Amendment rights are going to be honored and respected, because there's a lot of process in between the physical storage of data and who has access. There's internal policies that have to be dealt with. And it's going to be hard, I think, without a lot of legislation in order to assure that these departments are following that aspect of it, because guardrails is a real broad term. What does that mean? Your idea of a guardrail may not be my idea of a guardrail, and then that guardrail may not be really high enough or broad enough to really take into consideration some of the really bad things that you can do with this technology, and especially technology that's available to anybody in the internet. If you talk to anybody who understands the dark web at all, these cameras are all accessible by hackers, each and every individual one. And so we have to have that discussion. What does that mean? We have to have data experts come in and tell us where are the pitfalls, where are the holes. And it's really not the physical camera. It's really not the physical chips and everything that make up that componentry. It's the data, and it's a software package. Could be looking for tag numbers right now, but all it would take would just be a simple switch within the software to turn it on to start tracking other things about it. And then you have the whole aspect of AI and these data centers that are coming online that are being put up in Texas. We have one that's maybe proposed over here near my district. And I guess they don't plan on doing away with any of this data if they're going to capture it and store it there. Over the billions and billions of scans that take place on an annual basis on these license plate readers, they say that 99.5% of them are not associated in whatsoever with any crime. Then you've got capture like 5% of people who may have committed a crime, but then you have to weed out those that might look like a crime but really aren't. And then by the time you get down to the actual ones that you use, is this really an efficient system? If almost 100% of your stuff that you're collecting is not usable for crime prevention or capturing somebody, why do you need it?